Why do the most ruthless people often rise to the top? We see it everywhere. The manipulative CEO who builds an empire by crushing competitors. The corrupt politician who lies, cheats, and still gets elected. The influencer who fakes their entire persona but somehow wins millions of followers. Meanwhile, honest, hard-working people, they struggle. They play by the rules, yet they get overlooked, outplayed, and left behind. Why? Is life just unfair? Or is there a deeper truth about power that we refuse to accept? One philosopher had an answer. Friedrich Nietzsche. Nietzsche saw the world differently. He believed that power isn't about morality, fairness, or who deserves it. Power is taken. And those who understand this truth, the ones who are bold, ruthless, and willing to break the rules, are the ones who rise. But does that mean he admired the worst people in society? Or was he simply exposing the brutal reality that most refuse to see? To answer this, we need to dive into Nietzsche's philosophy of power. Specifically, his idea of the will to power, the force that drives all human ambition, and why history seems to reward those who embrace it. Think about the people who dominate the world. Ruthless CEOs, ambitious politicians, powerful influencers. Are they the most talented, the most intelligent, the most ethical? Not always. What they do have is an unstoppable drive, the will to power. Friedrich Nietzsche believed that everything in life, from nature to human ambition, is fueled by one thing: the desire to dominate, to expand, to impose one's will upon the world. This is not about survival. It's not even about happiness. It's about power. What is the will to power? Nietzsche rejected the idea that humans are driven by morality, reason, or even the pursuit of pleasure. Instead, he argued that our deepest instinct is the will to power, a force that pushes us to overcome obstacles, shape reality, and expand our influence. Think of it like this. Why does an entrepreneur risk everything to build an empire? Why does an artist dedicate their life to a masterpiece? Why do some people break the rules to get ahead, while others hesitate? Because power isn't just about control, it's about growth. Those who embrace their will to power push forward. Those who suppress it remain stagnant. Power has no morality. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Power doesn't care about good or bad. History isn't shaped by those who are kind, fair, or deserving. It's shaped by those who are willing to act. This is why people who hesitate, who worry about playing fair, often get crushed by those who don't. While one person debates whether it's right to take an opportunity, someone else takes it without a second thought. This is where Nietzsche's most controversial idea comes in: the difference between master morality and slave morality. Nietzsche argued that there are two ways people approach life. Master morality, the mindset of the strong. These people create their own values. They don't wait for permission. They define success on their own terms. Power, ambition, and achievement are seen as good. Weakness, obedience, and self-sacrifice, bad. Slave morality, the mindset of the weak. Instead of seeking power, they convince themselves that weakness is a virtue. They glorify humility, obedience, and suffering, not because they truly believe in these values, but because it justifies their own powerlessness. History is a battle between these two forces, and the people who rise, the ones who truly shape the world, are almost always the ones who reject slave morality and embrace their will to power. But does this mean Nietzsche believed in being ruthless at all costs? Or is there a deeper lesson here? Most people are taught from childhood to play fair, be kind, and follow the rules. But what happens when they enter a world where others don't? The employee who works hard and expects fairness gets overlooked, while the one who networks, flatters, and manipulates climbs the ladder. The business that sticks to ethics struggles to survive, while the one that exploits loopholes and cuts corners dominates. The honest politician loses to the one who makes empty promises and tells people what they want to hear. The truth is, the world doesn't reward fairness. It rewards strategy. This doesn't mean that ruthlessness always leads to success. But it does mean that those who refuse to use power dynamics to their advantage often lose to those who do. History's most powerful figures have mastered the art of deception. Julius Caesar charmed the Roman people while secretly consolidating power. Napoleon promised democracy but crowned himself emperor. Modern tech billionaires preach innovation while crushing competitors behind the scenes. Deception and manipulation are often viewed as immoral, but in the realm of power, they are strategies. Nietzsche saw through the illusion. Morality, as most people understand it, is not universal. It's a tool used by the weak to restrain the strong. Those who succeed are often the ones who know when to break the rules, understand human nature and use it to their advantage. See morality as flexible, not absolute. But this raises a dangerous question. Does this mean morality is meaningless? If power is all that matters, is there any room for ethics? Nietzsche's answer? It depends on who's in control. Do nice people always finish last? If power rewards the ruthless, does this mean that good, honest people are destined to lose? We've all seen it. The hardworking employee who gets passed over for promotions while a manipulative coworker climbs the ladder. The ethical business owner who struggles while a competitor cuts corners and thrives. The kind-hearted leader who gets taken advantage of in a world full of sharks. It's easy to believe that morality is a weakness, a burden that only holds people back. But is that really true? Nietzsche didn't say that only the ruthless succeed. He said that power belongs to those who understand how it works. And this means that good people aren't doomed to fail. They just need to play the game smarter. One of Nietzsche's biggest warnings was about blind morality, the idea that people follow moral rules without thinking about who benefits. Always being honest might make you feel righteous, but it also makes you predictable and easy to manipulate. Always being selfless might make you virtuous, but it also makes you vulnerable to exploitation. Always playing fair might seem noble, but what happens when others cheat? Being moral isn't the problem. Being naive is. History's most successful good people weren't just kind, they were strategic. They knew when to stand by their values and when to bend the rules to survive. So how do good people succeed in a world where ruthlessness often wins? They balance morality with ambition. They refuse to be doormats, but they also don't become the monsters they're fighting against. Understand power. You can't win if you don't know the rules of the game. Learn how influence, persuasion, and strategy work. Control your morality. Don't let it control you. Choose your battles. Some situations require honesty and fairness. Others require discretion and toughness. Use people's expectations to your advantage. People expect good people to be passive. Surprise them. Be kind, but not weak. Be fair, but not naive. Adapt without losing yourself. There's a difference between being ruthless and being resilient. The strongest people know how to navigate a corrupt system without becoming corrupt themselves. This is the real secret. The best leaders, creators, and thinkers in history didn't throw away morality. They learned to wield it like a weapon, on their terms. So no, good people are not doomed to fail. Only powerless people are. The real question is, are you willing to take control of your own power? Does power always corrupt? We've all heard the saying, power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. History is filled with leaders, visionaries, and conquerors who rose to greatness, only to be destroyed by their own ambition. Julius Caesar was unstoppable until his closest allies betrayed and assassinated him. Napoleon Bonaparte conquered Europe until his thirst for domination led to his downfall. Countless billionaires and CEOs built empires, only to collapse under scandal, greed, or paranoia. If power is the key to success, why does it so often lead to self-destruction? Nietzsche, despite celebrating strength and ambition, wasn't blind to this danger. He knew that the pursuit of power could be both a path to greatness and a trap. Power is addictive. Once people get a taste, they often want more. But unchecked ambition comes with a cost: paranoia. The more power you gain, the more enemies you make. Many powerful figures end up consumed by fear, constantly watching their backs. Isolation. When power becomes an obsession, relationships suffer. Trust erodes. Ambitious people often end up alone, unable to connect with others. Self-destruction. Many powerful individuals overreach. They refuse to stop, even when they've won. They push too far, take too many risks, and eventually collapse. Nietzsche saw this pattern in history. He knew that the strong could easily become prisoners of their own power. And that's why he introduced his most famous idea, the Übermensch. Nietzsche didn't just talk about power. He imagined a new kind of person who could wield it without being destroyed. He called this figure the Übermensch, Overman or Superman. The Übermensch is not just someone who seeks power for its own sake. They are not tyrants, manipulators, or mere conquerors. The Übermensch is someone who 1. Masters themselves before mastering the world. 2. Creates their own values instead of being ruled by greed or ego. 3. Understands that real power is not about control, but creation. This is Nietzsche's real lesson. Power alone is not enough. The greatest individuals don't just take power, they transcend it. They don't let ambition consume them. They don't chase empty success. They build, they innovate, and they evolve, without falling into the same traps that destroy so many. So the real question is, if you seek power, will you control it? Or will it control you?